Hello, hello. Welcome to Psychic Talk. I'm your host, Priscilla Gendron, and welcome to a very, very hot and steamy South Africa. We've been having a little bit of a heat wave here, and I've been dripping, dripping, dripping sweat. So it's not been pleasant. But luckily today it's a little bit cooler, so we are allowing ourselves to relax and not feel as if we going in a sauna. So welcome back to Psychic Talk. Um, I always have the most amazing guests from all over the world, and today is no exception. We've got the amazing psychic, spiritual medium, and an amazing person all the way from the UK, and her name is Jenny Louise. Welcome, Jenny.
Hi everyone, and thank you for having me, Priscilla.
Oh, it's great to have you. We did meet each other, I think, through all the stuff we did with various other things within the UK, and that's how we know each other. And
Yeah, that's right.
and it's just so amazing to my whole thing about psychic talk is about how we all got to where we are today. So for me, I like to see and delve into the nuances of how people found their gifts or what led them to their journey. So for you, what was it like? When did it start for you? So what sort of age?
So I think for me, I my dad committed suicide when I was 13 years old, and I had a feeling that he was around, but I didn't know how to explain it.
Yes.
So on the day of his funeral, I can recall very well that it felt like I'd walked through a cobweb. And I don't like spiders, same as probably most people. And it felt like I'd walked through a cobweb. Now, I kept having different dreams about my dad, and I think it was about a few months after his death. I went to see my first ever clairvoyant, who was local to me. I went with a friend, and she talked to me about my dad. And she basically said, how he died, what was going on. And she told me that I had the gift. So I said to her, what do I do? How do I develop this? And she said about me doing cards. So I went and got myself a pack of tarot cards after believing, because she told me really personal things. And she also told me about the experience, which I've just said about walking in the cobweb. And she said, that experience for you was your dad walking out of the home and leaving you as if to say goodbye. So that really pulled at me because I thought she couldn't have known that. So that was when my belief started to come. So I got some cards, and it was Doreen Virtue, it was fairy cards. I still got them to this day. It's amazing. And I started working with them. And I had a couple of friends that really wanted to know about it all. So I kept doing card readings, reading from the book in the cards, and they loved it. And as time went on, and I, became, sort of a lot older, I started experiencing pains in my hands, and it was weird. It was the only way I can describe it is like when you look at a cartoon strip in an old magazine, and I kept being given bubbles of things that had happened. And one time in particular, I had a feeling that there was a van. There was a van involved in a crash. So at the time, I said to my partner, "Please be careful today." I said, because I know you're in your work van, but I've just got this feeling. And I knew that when I had those feelings, it meant that it was somebody close to me, not anyone I didn't know. So anyway, he was like, "Oh, don't." He didn't believe in it. It's like, "Don't be silly. I'll be fine." And he was running late. Anyway, he rang me, and he said to me, where we lived, there was a bridge. And he said to me, if I had been on time, Jen, I would have been in the river. He said, because a car's just collided with another van, and it's gone into the river off the bridge. At that point, I was just physically sick. I just went to the toilet and threw up. I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know, oh my God, what's this gift? So anyway, I carried on with my cards and things like that. And then I started to develop like buzzing in my ears that was constant, and I didn't know what to do. And I worked at a care home at the time, and it kept happening at work, and I was on nights, and I thought this is bizarre. So I went to my first psychic switch at the Bentley in Lincoln, and I met a very lovely medium there, and I had a reading with her, and she told me that I've got the gift, and she said, I want you to go home, I want you to throw your books away because you've got it up here. And I said, oh no. She went, no, how do you know you haven't? Because you're reading from a book. So if the book isn't there, you're not letting yourself, develop. So I gave her a bit of a card reading with a couple of cards there and then, and I felt quite confident. So after that meeting, I joined a closed group at a local place at Bracebridge. And I went once a week, and we had all sorts. We had the tarot cards, we had psychometry. In particular, I remember we were asked to bring in a flower of any sort, and we went into the group, and we had to place it in the floor in the middle of the circle. And during the session, we had to go and grab a flower, and it wasn't allowed to be our own flower. And we had to read from this flower. And I just thought, I'm in the wrong place. This is silly. And as it came to me, I just started to feel with this flower, and the stem had been broken. And I knew that it meant this lady had had a really close loss in her life. And I was reading from this flower. And then what happened was the person in the circle had to put a hand up, and this lady was in tears. And she said, you could not be any more spot on. It's my husband that I've lost recently, and everything I said, and I just went, I've just read from the flower. One of the sessions in particular was what they call table tipping. So a gentleman brought a table in, and the table moved on its own with spirit guiding it, and it went to certain people in the circle. And when it came to me, it was like tipping over onto my leg, and tears were just streaming down my face, and I felt very emotional. And I could feel my nana in spirit. And I said to them, why am I feeling emotional, and what's this table doing? And they said, that's your nana giving you a hug. So it opened my eyes so much. And within 6 to 7 months, I developed at a very fast rate. I started to have babies in spirit. The noise that was in my ear started, it was actually on a night shift, funnily enough. And I said to my friend at the time, my colleague, what did you say? I didn't say anything. I said, you just spoke to me. She went, no, I haven't. And that's when I realised that a lady was speaking to me, and it was very surreal at that time. And it was the lady that I was sat with, it was her grandma. And she just said she was absolutely blown away. So I still doubted myself, and I do still to this day. People out there that know me will be like, yes, you do. But I do know my capabilities, and I do know now that I need to believe in myself. And I don't know everything. There's still so much out there for me. I know that. But I've massively progressed. My business just went from starting at my local pub who know me. I started an event one day, and I just said, can I do an event? Yeah, I put a poster up of me, and I put it on social media, and I did time slots for people to book in. Didn't expect to really be that busy. I was there from 12:30 until 11:15 at night. And that, for me, is what started my business rolling. I don't advertise on leaflets. I don't go out posting through doors. It is just word of mouth with me and my own posting on social media. So yeah.
The success of any psychic, when your gift is at its height, is always about word of mouth, because you can have all the advertising in the world, but if you're not good at what you do, all that advertising means absolutely nothing. But it's when somebody says, go and see her because she's good at that, or I've seen this person and this is what, I'm the same. I've been doing this for over 30 plus years, and I still only work. Yeah, I do a little bit of advertising on social media, but I still work from referrals, because for me, that is my biggest tool is my referrals.
Yeah, I think I think the biggest thing for me as well is I lost my mum in 2020 at the start of COVID.
Mm.
And my mum always wanted me to do a live or to do an event or a platform event. And I was really scared. Now, when I lost mum, I decided that's it. There's something inside me. I'm going to do my first live. I did my first live, which is on my business page. And out of nowhere, because there was only me in the house, my Alexa started playing the song that was at my mum's funeral, and my dog started going wappy as well. And everyone could see that it was live, and for them to share that with me, and it be my first live, I've got goosebumps now. It spurred me on, because I knew it was my mum. It couldn't have been anybody
Oh yeah,
else.
yeah. Because as
And
you were talking
now,
about that image and about that event, I could see her standing in the back of the room, like conducting it all and switching the lights and stuff like that. And yeah, almost like cheering you
yeah,
on.
I massively connect with her now. And it helps, I've got to say, it helps so much as well. Going through life, I've had partners that have not been supportive or have been interested. Everyone's got their own beliefs, that's fine.
Exactly.
But I've now met my spiritual soulmate, and he is a beautiful soul. And he supports my business and me so much. And it's so lovely to have somebody like that as well.
It's
And
very
he's
important to have somebody that is there that really believes in what you're doing. It's okay if they're not involved in that world, but to just be able to allow you to have your space in that world is what's important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And he will listen. He'll be really interested in this. He knows this is big for me. I've also joined the Psychic Switch team as well. So he came to my first Psychic Switch with me and sat obviously in the bar area and stayed there, the whole time I was there. And just knowing that he's there as well, it gives me so much support, and it just gives you a boost to want to do well, with that support behind you. And my friendship circle started changing as well. My posts were different on social media, so my algorithm changed on social media, and it was bringing in more spiritual people like myself. And I've got to meet some beautiful people. I'm just so honoured, and so much gratitude for people that even are just on my business page that watch my posts and my competitions and things like that. Because without them, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be me, and they're absolutely amazing. And I've gone on. I've been able to do my Reiki practitioner, which I enjoy. I'm doing. I want to do past life regression, because in the last couple of months, past life's been a massive thing for me, coming to me. So I want to do the regression side of things. I'm also at the moment doing an animal communication course, because again, I've been told that I've gone through a spiritual upgrade.
Yes.
So everything is so much louder for me, and it's so much out there. And I communicated with my first dog, not last weekend, the weekend before, which was a dachshund. And it was my friend's mum's dog, and it was a surreal experience. She was a rescue. They warned me that she probably wouldn't come near me. She's very timid. She didn't at first. And then she just came and sat with me and looked in my eyes, and I was pouring, and she wanted me to tell her story so I could tell them what happened to her, and, why she's got certain habits. And it was amazing. And for them to actually come back to me after and say, she's changed so much, Jenny. thank you so much is it just means so much to me to be able to, you know, to do that. And there's so much more out there for me to learn. You know, it's such a big world, and I would never ever take it for granted. Never. I know it could
Exactly.
go just like that, but right now
Yeah.
it's
And it's
yeah.
so important because when you step into this realm, and it is definitely a realm, it's very different from living what I would call in what people call the real world. It's very difficult to assimilate yourself to both sides. It's kind of like having a duality to yourself because you can just be Jenny from the block, or you can be
Jenny from the block, that's what they call
Jenny
me.
from the block, or you can be Jenny Louise,
Mm-hmm.
intuitive medium. And there is the two parts to you, you know? So it's kind of like you're having to wear two different hats in a sense.
It
It's
is.
not
And I think,
amalgamating the two.
yeah, I think for me, it's always been about confidence. And I know that now. And even when people come back to me and they'll say, you did me a reading a couple of months ago, and oh my God, everything. And I'm like, shocked. And I'm like, but why am I shocked? Because I know that I'm good at
Yeah,
what I do. And it's not only what I do for people, like my business, but it's the feedback, the reviews that I get about the person I am. And that means a lot to me as well. You know, Jenny, you made me feel so comfortable. You made me, I feel so different since I've seen you. You're so empathic. And this is why I don't think I could ever do a platform event because I take my time. Someone could come for a 30-minute reading and they'll still be there an hour later. I can't be quick. I
yeah,
can't be quick. I like to give them, you know, what I get basically. Um and you know and like I say, you know, and that is it. But recently I've had to up my protection because I've had things going on that have scared me, and it is because I've gone through the spiritual upgrade and I'm now understanding what everything was meaning. And sometimes when I feel poorly, it's not me feeling poorly in my health, it is actually spirit. um so yeah, I've had to up my protection, and I've now got two lovely dragons that are with me, and yeah, I
wonderful.
feel massively protected. It's yeah, it's my friends just laugh now. You know, they sort, you know, they can sort of say, well, you know, I
She comes with all her
I
spiritual people and her dragons and
yeah, yeah. Well, a conversation the other week, my friend said, I'm sick of spiders. I absolutely hate spiders. I'm sure they come just to punish me. They know there was on my kitchen sink, and I was like, oh well, at least you haven't got a dragon sat on your bathroom sink when you get out of the shower. She went, oh Jenny, you are funny. But they know me now, and nothing to me now surprises me. You know, whereas before it was very much like, okay, okay, that's strange, but we know we'll go with it. Um, but yeah, I feel a lot darker now. I feel I'm getting a lot more where people want me to help them with spirit attachments or removal of spirit in a home or things like that, and I'm able to do that more as well. I helped a lady with her little boy, which was it was very big. She had to move house at one point, so her daughter had the same thing, and I did that for her. And again, that's, you know, it's just something different, and I think it's about me knowing that I need to protect myself because obviously, you know, there is a lot of negativity out there, and there is a lot of, you know, evil.
yes, there is definitely. And you know, when you're stepping into this kind of realm, you open yourself up to a lot of stuff as well. So it's very important to have your protection and know, you know, how far you can go with what you have in a sense. That's very important to have.
Yeah, and not. I'm sure it's not just me. For yourself and other mediums and people that do practice this area, it's about looking after yourself as well. And I didn't used to realize this. I used to work sometimes till midnight, you know, with people that were desperate, and I thought I have to look after me, you know, because I was drained. I had headaches. I felt sick. You know, I've even experienced it where I've done Reiki for somebody, i.e., my dog or my partner, and fell asleep doing it, and the next day I've not been able to move. You know, so it's punishment that,
Yes.
don't, don't be naughty in that way or abuse, the gift that you've got.
Yeah. I know
It is.
exactly what you mean because it's difficult because you bend over backwards to help people because that's in your nature. I've been exactly the same. I mean, I used to also work at all hours or, fit people in or bend over backwards for people. And then I had to come to a stage where I actually got physically ill and I physically, a couple of years back, couldn't get out of bed. I was really, really
Yeah,
ill. I got an autoimmune condition. I physically couldn't get out of bed. My son had to help me out of bed and help me to the loo and help me to do things. And it just my body told me, stop, that's it, get off the bus. And
yeah,
I had
yeah.
to learn to take my time and I'm saying, these are my hours and I've got to stick to them for myself, not for my clients, because my clients can fit into them. If I make them fit into it, they will. But it's my
I
own
think,
parameters. And I think
yeah.
that's
And
important.
I think that was the problem with me, is that I thought, oh, they're not going to wait. They're not going to wait for a reading with me, But now I know that they will wait. You know,
Exactly.
uh, they will have to wait, because before, I also worked with the NHS with mental health. So I worked on the mental health wards. I worked with the crisis team. I've worked with, all different areas. But now it's got to the point where I'm so busy that I'm not picking up, because I'm only on bank now, but I'm not picking up any shifts now because right now I am busy. And I kind of feel that Spirit was testing me, and it was like, come on, do you want this full time or do you want the NHS? One point,
Yeah.
a while ago,
Like
I was
one or the
doing
other.
four, yeah, I was doing 4 days a week, and then the other three cramming all my business in, and I was drained. I was poorly, so I
Mm.
knew that something was testing me, and I had to follow what path.
It is. It's so important. And so, what sort of things have you got planned for your next part of your journey? I know you said you were going to do some studies and increase all the things that you're doing. So, what's
I
the future look like for Jenny at the moment?
I like the psychic switches. I haven't done many, and I would like to carry on doing that, because obviously we've lost Zoe,
Yes.
obviously, who managed them. So, it's sort of up in the air at the moment. But I did that for confidence building and networking, to get me out to
Yes.
different areas. So for me, in the future, I would like to venture out to different areas, and maybe, if people wanted to invite me to maybe do things like this with yourself.
Yes.
I was really nervous, but I think, I quite like this, quite like talking to people like this. So maybe if I could do that, I do have my own course that I do, but it got to the point where, again, it was too much. So I've had to take it a step back until the future, really, because I'm moving. So until I'm settled in
Mm.
an area. But yeah,
What's
cut
your
a lot
course
of
about?
courses. Sorry.
What is the course about?
So the course is somebody that wants to learn, obviously what I did.
Yes.
So it's a step-by-step course, session one, session two, and it's all about the different, the meditation, everything it entails. So I've got all my own course detail and all my own, all ready to do a course. Um, yeah, I enjoy that side of it. I also enjoy the past life side. So, like I mentioned, I would love to go into past life regression. Find it very interesting. It's just, again, having the money. Um, I would really like to just do so many different courses. I do spells as well. I do a lot of spells. So I'm also interested in that Wiccan side of
Yes.
things as well. And the animal communication, obviously, I can't wait to finish that, because that'll be something else as well. So, and
So there's
maybe do things
a lot of wonderful
like
things
cafes,
to do.
yeah, and just maybe do things like cafes, and maybe join events and things with people and just get myself out there really. I
Yeah.
do parties as well, so I go out to people's houses and they'll have a party. So yeah, I do all that as well. I think for me in the last couple of months, my thing has been trying to be consistent on my business page and building up, that customer base and followers, which is
Yes.
working really well. Bringing in competitions, finding what people like, doing lives where people want to talk about certain things, doing a question, a Q&A night,
Yes.
putting free things on there as well, the competitions and things like that. The interaction goes really well with them. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that at the minute because I'm also meeting different people that are liking my thing. So in turn, I'm following them, and we're getting. It's really nice.
Amazing. Oh, well, Jenny Louise, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure to chat to you and discover a little bit more about you and your journey that you've taken in spirit. It's always wonderful to see how spirit can guide us and take us by the hand and sometimes kick our butts
Mm-hmm.
into our journey. And it's not always easy, but I find it always so fascinating as to how people can, take their journey and where they start from. It's such an
Yeah,
amazing journey as well. So thank you so much for joining me. And if anybody would like to get hold of Jenny or to have a session with her, all her details and links will be in the description below of the video. And I look forward to having her back again some stage further down the
thank
line.
you for having me, Priscilla, and thank you everybody. It's been lovely. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you everybody for joining us. And this is me, Priscilla Gendron, psychic medium for Psychic Talk. And I look forward to seeing you again on the flip side, same time, same place. I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for joining us. Bye bye for now.
Take care.